The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight.
Since the dawn of time, man has been searching for wisdom.
Yet so often folly presents herself as wisdom.
Wisdom cries out in the street. In the square she raises her voice. How long, O simple ones, will you love being simple?
Yet folly also speaks. Her ways wander, and she does not know it.
Man has two choices, wisdom and folly.
Both cry out.
Both can appear correct.
But folly encourages mortal wisdom instead of divine truth.
The Garden of Eden.
Adam and Eve.
They had but one rule.
Of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall die.
Curiosity can get the best of anyone.
Eve couldn't resist temptation and listened to her own reasoning in the serpent.
For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.
She shared her sin.
Their own perceived wisdom was their downfall.
They knew the rule, but desired knowledge.
This knowledge prevented them from the tree of life.
The high price for knowledge of good and evil included expulsion from Eden.
They searched for wisdom, yet folly stepped in and took hold.
Abram, a paragon of faith, seemed to be wise.
When he trusted blindly in God, things went well.
But when he took matters into his own hands, things got messy.
Instead of being forthright with Pharaoh, he lied and said that Sarai was his sister.
Pharaoh took her for a time.
Abram's own wisdom led to great consequences for all parties involved.
Brothers are bound together in a special way.
Some through love and kinship.
Others through trickery and deception.
Esau just wanted something to eat, but Jacob resisted.
Why should he share what was his?
So he tricked him into selling his birthright for a bowl of beans.
His perceived wisdom and trickery brought him a birthright, but their relationship was forever altered.
Saul started off as a humble man worthy of the kingdom.
He was chosen to serve as Israel's first king.
His downfall began when he couldn't wait for Samuel to sacrifice before a battle.
He decided to make the burnt offering of his own volition, though he was unauthorized to do so.
His solution to the problem was unacceptable.
King Saul took matters into his own hands and therefore received punishment.
He had two choices, wisdom or folly.
Folly served his ego.
Wisdom would have served his God.
Listening to folly led him down a dark path. David was a man after God's own heart.
Surely he was wise.
Yet even he had his downfall.
And who can blame him? Bathsheba was beautiful,
He was the king. Nothing was denied of him.
including the wife of Uriah the Hittite.
He ignored wisdom and the way of the righteous man.
David took what wasn't his.
This one-night stand lasted much longer than a few hours.
To hide his sins, he resorted to murder.
But he couldn't hide forever, and when confronted, he was forced to own up to his folly.
He was penitent, but he couldn't keep the innocent from suffering because of his sin.
The consequences of his chasing her led to the raising up of trouble against him from within his own house.
Solomon, the son of this illicit union, became the next king.
God told him to ask what I should give you.
Instead of choosing wealth, long life, or power, he asked for wisdom.
This request pleased God, and he gave Solomon discernment.
Solomon's humility and acknowledgement of his own lack of wisdom set him apart.
He chose to follow after wisdom.
Happy are those who find wisdom, and those who get understanding, for her income is better than silver, and her revenue better than gold. She is a tree of life to those who lay hold of her. Those who hold fast are called happy.
Solomon was pulled away from wisdom at times, but he was world-renowned for the gift God had given him.
Wisdom offered some salvation for him.
Do not let your hearts turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her paths. For many are those she has laid low, and numerous are her victims. Her house is the way to Sheol, going down to the chambers of death.
Man is given two choices, wisdom or folly.
Both can be appealing.
But one leads to grave consequences.
The other leads to life.
Say to wisdom, "You are my sister," and call insight your intimate friend, that they may keep you from the loose woman, from the adulteress with her smooth words.
For the lips of a loose woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end she is bitter as wormwood.
Those who are wise understand these things.
Those who are discerning know them.
For the ways of the Lord are right, and the upright walk in them.
But transgressors stumble in them.